So today we're going to talk about transitions. Transitions are an important way to show the connection between our ideas and to create flow in our writing because they help lead our readers through our ideas. Often as writers, we see the connection between the ideas easily because we wrote them. But readers sometimes need help to see the connection between our ideas. Transitions help prevent our readers from getting lost and show the relationship and importance of our ideas that might otherwise be missed. So what are transitions? Transitions can be a word, a phrase, or a sentence that connects one section of our paragraph or essay to another. We'll use this example, meanwhile. Marla summoned all her training in order to destroy the monster. Meanwhile, her brother was at home eating chips. We can tell that Marla is doing one thing and at the same time her brother is doing something else in a different location. If we remove the word meanwhile in the final example, Marla summoned all her training in order to destroy the monster, her brother was at home eating chips, the sentences seem disjointed and awkward. We wonder, what do they have to do with each other? Meanwhile is an effective transition that moves us around in location. In an essay, you may use transition words to organize your ideas. You can use words to indicate that you are expanding on your idea or providing additional support for an argument. These words include, but are not limited to, also, furthermore, similarly, likewise, whereas, conversely, consequently, notably. You may be most familiar with transitions that occur within paragraphs, so that's where we're going to begin. Transitions within a paragraph are meant to connect the ideas inside that paragraph, showing the relationship between the ideas. These transitions can either be implicit or explicit. Let's look at the first paragraph. This paragraph is about teacher professional development. In this paragraph, we will actually see 4 kinds of transitions: repetition of key words, implicit phrases, sentence structure, and explicit transitions. You can pause the video to read the paragraph fully and see if you can locate any of the transitions on your own. Let's look first at the repetition of key words. These are bolded in the paragraph. We can see how the writer repeated the phrases teacher professional development and learning throughout the paragraph. Repeating these phrases is important because it reminds the reader the focus of these ideas and that they are all connected. Next, let's look at the implicit phrases. These are italicized in the paragraph and help connect ideas as well. These implicit phrases could be explicit transitions if they were used at the beginning of a sentence or independent clause, but because they are in the middle of a sentence, they are more subtle in how they connect ideas and show relationships. Next, we will look at how sentence structure can also create implicit transitions. There is only one example in this paragraph, and it occurs where we see the semicolon. A semicolon is used in place of a period to connect complete sentences, but in order to use a semicolon, the 2 complete sentences have to be related in their ideas or be a continuation of the same idea, and this will create an implicit transition. Finally, underlined in the passage are the explicit transitions. These are words that you most likely know and use in your own writing. We have 2 examples of explicit transitions in this paragraph. However and thus. They both occur at the start of independent clauses and are followed by a comma. Within paragraphs, strong writers often use both implicit and explicit transitions. You need to ask yourself, did I use enough transitions to show the relationship between the ideas in this paragraph? And Did I use my transitions effectively and appropriately? Next, let's look at the transitions that occur between paragraphs. These tell the general direction that a paper is going. They are used to connect the main points in an essay. Just like transitions within paragraphs, they can be either implicit or explicit. Implicit transitions between paragraphs are the most common in writing. This is where your paragraphs naturally flow because the topics of the paragraphs are clearly related. In the first example, the first paragraph discusses the benefit plans companies give for their part-time employees, while the second paragraph discusses how government officials want to provide benefit plans to the part-time employees. These two ideas are clearly related, with the connection being benefit plans for part-time employees. So, an explicit transition isn't necessary because the connection is implied. We can see also the repetition of the keyword part-time employees, which helps to form the implicit transition. In another example, the first paragraph mentions an older woman who doesn't wish to leave her home, so her son spends nights over at her house to take care of her. The second paragraph discusses the strain the new sleeping arrangement has on the man's family. The ideas are clearly related through the sleeping arrangement, so an explicit transition isn't necessary because, again, the connection is implied. We can see the repetition of the word sleep also, which again helps to form an implicit transition. For the most part, you should be using implicit transitions in your writing. This is especially true if your paragraph's ideas smoothly and clearly lead from one to another. This might be new for you, so we have to practice. However, there will be times when you might want to use explicit transitions between your paragraphs. To do so, you'll have to add some kind of reference to the previous paragraph in the next paragraph, as we will see in the two examples. These are the same two paragraphs from the previous slide. In the first example, we've added the phrase, although part-time employees may have difficulty getting benefits. And then we continue with the topic sentence, introducing the new focus of this paragraph. In the second example, we added the phrase, despite this difficult arrangement. Then we continue with the topic sentence. Both added phrases refer to the previous paragraphs, then move us on to the main point of the next paragraph. Again, just like with transitions within paragraphs, strong writers will use both implicit and explicit transitions between paragraphs throughout their essays. Just remember when you use transitions to ask yourself if you used your transitions effectively and appropriately, and if you used enough transitions to show the relationship between your ideas in the paper. You have to be cautious about using too much repetition or including transitions when they really aren't necessary. Using transitions appropriately means using the right transitions to communicate the right relationship between ideas. For homework this week, as well as studying for your exam, you will find on Moodle under week 5 a link to a paper that needs its transitions to be edited. Please edit the paper in your own words. Please do not ask for help. If you don't do well, you know I will give you more opportunities to practice, but I need to know what you can do before I actually give you a test on it. Your test this week will not include editing other sentences, but you may have to identify if a transition is implicit or explicit. So make sure that you understand the concept. You will also be asked which explicit transition should be used. For example, I might give you a multiple choice sentence, and your options for completing the sentence could be moreover, however, in addition, or in conclusion. I believe this will be review for you. However, if we find it is not review, you know I will throw out this section of the test. Please be sure to email me if you have any questions.